Welcome to the Resellers Locker Room, where we're profiting off of you. Yeah, of you. Resellers are the scum of the earth, killing on the floor. Gonna flip it online, we're gonna sell it for more. Profiting
off of you.
Profiting
off of you.
Do you remember me? I lowballed you right in front of your house. Now I'm profiting off of you. Profiting off of you. Everybody. Profiting
off of you. Profiting off of you. One thing we will never hear, though, is profiting off of YouTube.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome into the Resellers Locker Room, where we're popping tags, episode 3. First up, the Beard King Picker is in the house, followed by 540 Flips, and last but not least, the Buttery Biscuit Butt. And I'm Rocky Top Picker. What's going on, fellas?
Same old, same old.
What's happening, captains?
Happy freaking Tuesdays.
Happy
right?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Great song, Alex. Man, you're going to have to drop that on a CD or MP3 so we can put that on Spotify, my friend.
Yeah, it made my day.
It was awesome. Yeah.
You're trying to sing. I said everybody. I know you want to sing that part.
So if you're a listener or a watcher, if you're a listener, make sure you log on to YouTube and catch our visual show. But if you're watching this podcast, go down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed that song, Alex wrote that, produced that, performed that. And if you like that, he might cut it on an MP3 and sell it for $1.99 plus shipping.
And if we get a copyright strike, that would just go full circle.
Oh, that would
be yeah.
I might, because you're on here, though. That's very true. That's very true.
You know, it's been an interesting, has it been 7 days since we've been back here in the locker room? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yes. eBay, of course, never fails us to be very interesting to us resellers on the platform. And again, we're going back to our man Brando down below here. Going back. And Brandon 540 Flips has had an interesting day today. And again, without fail, our chat.
It seems like eBay knows our schedule.
Yeah.
Or somebody knows our schedule. Shout out to whoever you are. Because the first episode, we recorded that on a Wednesday. The rest of them we've done a different night, but that first episode we did on a Wednesday, and that's when the first issue that we discussed, just coincidence, gave us a topic. We talked about it. But that, of course, was, if you have not checked it out, discussing a Vero on a t-shirt I got from Universal Music Group. And I actually, for the ones watching on YouTube, I have the shirt right here. It is an Outlaw Willie Nelson t-shirt on a Zion. I said Crossroads because that is a town near us where I live, but it's actually Zion Rootswear tag, which it is going to be too small of a print. But it says down here, Zion Rootswear official licensee, blah, blah, blah. Well, went over that whole thing. We discussed Veros. That was episode number 1. First, I want to give an update. I made a post on Facebook in a very popular reseller Facebook group, and there was mixed discussions in the thread that was posted. But a lot of folks actually told me that if you get a Vero, do not reach out to the company. They were like, oh, you know, they're going to sue you and they're, you know, don't do it. It's the worst thing. Well, I followed what eBay said and I emailed the email address that they gave me. I shared the message that eBay sent me. I put in there, you know, in a as professional way as I possibly could be. It's been a long time since I've had to like write resumes and all that kind of stuff. But I basically said, you know, hey, eBay sent me a message, said that you guys filed this as copyright or not copyright, counterfeit. And, you know, to best of my knowledge, this is 100% legitimate. Could you please at least explain to me why it's counterfeit, or would you consider changing your, you know, reverse your decision and contact eBay on my behalf, because that's what they said to do. Well, I never heard anything back. And they said after 5 days, contact eBay. I did. I said, hey, they never responded to me. So then eBay will actually reach out to them on your behalf if they've not responded. So eBay did that, proceeded forward, messaged me, you know, good news, your appeal has been approved. So I was correct. This is not a counterfeit shirt. Okay, that's number one. Today, I get a message. Now, I woke up motivated, something I don't do, but I listen to these guys and I'm trying to do different things. And I woke up now, and I said, you know,
mind you guys, let's tell you how motivated he is in the mornings.
Go ahead. Let him know.
I'm 3 hours different, and we have a group chat. So I wake up with 3 hours of, well, him kind of talking to himself, and then every now and then these two guys will respond.
I just like it.
He was motivated. I agree. He was motivated.
I got up this morning and I said, you know what? We're closing out September. We're going into the fourth quarter. I hear people talking about end and sell similar, that it starts moving stuff in your store. You get sales on old items. So I went in and I said, everything that's in my store that hasn't sold, that was listed before April 1st, I'm going to end it all and I'm going to do sell similar. It was 122 items, which I didn't think was too bad. You know, I have over 1,300 items now on my store. So I was like, that's pretty good. Sure enough, not even it probably wasn't even an hour later. My wife sends me a text message, just says again with a screenshot of a message from eBay.
Ooh.
It said, we had to remove your item, you know, violated counterfeit policy. Now, this was not a Vero. This was an eBay initiated removal. So I called them and I was like, what the heck's going on here? This hat's been up for 6 months. Y'all hadn't said anything. I do a sell similar on it and relisted the hat this morning. Y'all are telling me it's counterfeit. I initially thought, because I've heard a lot of word about the AI stuff and everything else, I still am not 100% sold that it wasn't the AI, but I was told that a eBay community member reported my item as counterfeit. Now, I have questions about that because it just doesn't make sense. But also, I did some looking. This is the item in question. It is a simple, basic, cheap, promotional Miller Lite hat with, coincidentally, you know, somebody that's had issues with Harley Davidson recently. It has Harley Davidson official sponsor. Okay. So I did some research on Terapeak. There's currently 12 of these listed and only one has sold in the last 2 years on Terapeak. One. Wow. There's one of these listed for $2 freaking plus shipping.
Wow.
Why in the absolute hell would anybody counterfeit a hat that is still sitting available for $2?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now,
it's nuts.
Also, to give some little bit of background, and for everybody out there, yes, I have said I am new to reselling, but I have been on eBay for a long time. I am big into sports cards. If you couldn't notice if you're watching on YouTube with all my stuff back there. But I want to show, even in reselling, and I'm sure other people could connect with this. This is a Nike shirt. It is an authentic Nike shirt. Has all of the Nike inner tags, everything. But this shirt is counterfeit because it has an iron-on U.S. soccer patch. Okay, didn't list that. Game Boy game, Pokemon Yellow. Guess what? To the untrained eye, this looks 100% legitimate. But it's fake. There's tons of these repros. You can see it in here, the little chip. But to the untrained eye, looks legitimate. Wii U. Okay? Wii U. Who would copy Wii U? Pop these in your system. They won't work. They're counterfeit. Damn good job on the labels, though. Super Smash Bros. Nintendo 64. Sealed. How about that? How much is this? Big money, right? This box is totally fake.
This way.
I'll tell it.
The other way, yeah. We'll throw it this way.
Backwards.
But fake, okay? It rattles around. There is something in the box. It is sealed, but the box is fake, okay? It when you look at it up close, you can tell. Anybody want a Babe Ruth card? I've had many people think that this is real. 100% counterfeit. There is tons of counterfeit cards on eBay.
Now, Brando, I don't know that you're doing yourself a lot of justice for our viewers because you're talking about how these items aren't fake, and then you're showing them like 20 items that are fake.
These items aren't listed. Okay.
Do you go sourcing at the dollar store or what?
No. These are go on eBay and find those Game Boy games. I will guarantee, I will bet you the $3,000 that I spent on kilts that you go on eBay, you're going to find games, those Game Boy games. Guarantee you'll find them up there. Guarantee you will find fakes of these because there's actually forums out there and threads telling you how to check these. Y'all know what these are? Pit Viper sunglasses. Heavily, heavily, heavily faked. Now, I brought all this stuff to show you guys because it's one reason. I actually research my items before I list them on eBay. I'm not just going out buying junk, throwing it up. One reason it takes me a while to get my listings up is because I do research them. I am a sports card grading bulk submitter. The key for grading anything isn't condition. It is authenticity. I have sent, I don't know how many pair of shoes through eBay Authenticity Guarantee. 100%. All right. All perfect. All authentic. But a freaking $2 hat and a Willie Nelson t-shirt, they want to tell me is fake. Make it make sense.
Willie shirt. I'll take it.
Make it make sense. And the sad part is this isn't just me. You've heard Kevin talking about it. You know, he's had issues. The man has been on eBay for 20 plus years. He's sold over 10,000 items. You know, he's made a career out of it, both social media wise and reselling wise. You hear go on and Google and pull up the eBay community thing. It's people constantly, like I was reading forums earlier, people going and purchasing items, having the receipts from the physical stores, and their items are getting removed. We need some explanation to this. If you're listing authentic items and continuously getting told that they're counterfeit, what the hell are we to do? And I want to also point out, the gentleman specifically told me that users do it because of competitive pricing. And if you know that as a company and you are suspending people's accounts who are paying you for storefronts, who are paying you in fees, and you're letting this go, that is a poor way to do business.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Let us know down in the comments, guys, if you've experienced any of this, whether it's a Vero strike or whether it's violates counterfeit policy reported by another member we all would be interested in reading your scenarios of what's happened, and we'd like to get your thoughts on it as well. So make sure you go down below in the comment and leave them down there for us to read. What do y'all think about that, guys? Is that crazy or what?
I feel like a majority of the Veros that people get are actually other sellers. That's just my personal opinion. I just feel like it's so easy to do. Why not just eliminate some of your competition?
Yeah, I haven't experienced that on eBay yet, but this is something that happens on Amazon. People will buy out other people's stock because you have a certain amount of time to actually, you can cancel like 24 hours. You can cancel the order, so they'll buy out someone else's stock and then get the buy box. So that's something that actually happens on Amazon.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of the like reputable companies, I've actually seen multiple situations where they've actually sent the person either a letter in the mail or even sent them an email. And those you usually can tell are, like I said, reputable, letterhead, signed by the person. You can, multiple times people said, I've Googled this person's name, and yep, they are the counsel for this company. So I feel those are legit, but I really feel like a lot of it is just people just trying to take your item down.
Yeah, I've gotten those before, but only on Amazon. But some look fake too. So I don't know if the other sellers are just trying to get you kicked off.
Yeah.
Shady. Super shady.
The biggest frustration with it is, you know, again, the reason I showed all this other stuff is because I would love to list those items. Those items would sell for really good money, but I'm not stupid enough to put fake items on eBay. And each time it's dumb stuff like this that isn't worth anything that I am 100% confident is real. And then, you know, you hear it and see it so many times, and it's like, what can we do as resellers? Like, I told the rep, I said, you know, I don't want to speak on everybody's behalf, but he came out, and I know he has to read a script, and he's like, I understand how you feel. And I said, no, sir, not to be rude, but you don't know how I feel, because I spend a lot of time. There's, you know, guys out on YouTube that say they don't spend a lot of time on reselling and they do more content. I am opposite. I get up early, as y'all are aware of my 3 hours of messages. I get up very early in the morning and I get to work. I do it pretty much 7 days a week, unless I do need a break. And then I might take a day, you know, every so often to just veg out and relax. But I'm almost 7 days a week from, you know, it's what, 9 o'clock now. And I've been up since, you know, 6 a.m. I do it all day. And I have been proud of what I've been able to do. And this is just disheartening, because I feel like, not just myself, I know other people out there it's happened to, but I feel like you get punished for illegitimate reasons. And you try to do everything right. My ratings, I'm 100% positive feedback. And all of my little 5-star things, all of them but one are 5-star. I have a 4.9 on shipping costs. And let's be honest, everybody thinks shipping's too expensive, right? Everybody wants free shipping. So I'm very proud of that. And this just, it feels like a you know, a kick to the shins every so often. And it just sucks.
You're definitely on the radar. I mean, I've seen this play out with other people. My best friend, John, that lives out here. I mean, he had a Vero about a year ago, and it seems like they're always taking his stuff down. And you're on that radar. The faucet's on for you. So I want anybody that is watching from eBay. I just met this guy, so I have very little association with him. So I don't want to be guilty by association. So I have nothing that's fake.
He's more on the radar now because he just showed like 5 fake items.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
This is what gets me, fellas.
His F is for fake.
Fraudulent.
But seriously, here's what gets me with this
or
whole
they're
thing.
effing you.
Yeah. If other eBay members, and we might as well say sellers, okay, can go into your store or my store, Archie's or Alex, and just decide, you know what, I didn't like their podcast, so I'm just going to pick these items and turn them over to eBay. Okay.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
What makes them the counterfeit authority on anything, number one? And number two, it isn't just sellers that could do that, but what if it's disgruntled buyers who go back into our stores after making a purchase, and for whatever reason they were not satisfied, and they go, well, I'm just going to select this as counterfeit and send it to eBay and get them in trouble. There is no, to my knowledge, and I don't think you guys can say anything either, right now there is no protective measures against this from going on at a rapid pace.
Yep.
And that, like I told you guys, if this was designer handbags or something, and, you know, it was something that was way out of my league, I am very unfamiliar with, and they were like, hey, you know, this is fake. All right, I get it. My bad. I got, you know, my loss, whatever. I don't want to sell fake items. I would understand that.
Yeah.
But a hat that literally there's one on eBay right now for $2 plus shipping. Come on.
So does this now change you wanting to sell your designer men's skirts?
I mean, I don't know what to sell anymore. Like literally, because it seems like anything. I do need to get like a pair of nice vintage, like I don't know, Levi's or Lee or Wrangler cutoff and make some shorts out of them. And then I need to get, I guess, some Justins or Ariat boots that are, you know, knockoffs or something. Because I am going for a full wardrobe of, you know, hitting up a nice country concert here with the Willie Nelson and the Miller Lite hat and the Harley Davidson on the back. Like, I'm going for the full outfit. So we'll see how far I get.
He'll have to dress up like Willie Nelson for Halloween, guys. That's what he'll have to do.
Well, unfortunately, my wife was like, you should wear the shirt.
You can get away with it.
And unfortunately, it's a medium, and that doesn't fit.
I could get away with it. I don't know. Alex, let me ask you this, man. You were a big seller on Amazon. Did you have to deal with any of this crap on your account?
Yeah.
We
get letters all the time. Or companies is asking us to pull things down. Like I said, people would buy out your stuff, but counterfeit is a big thing. Getting claims, copyright claims from big brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound exactly the same, but
do you feel on Amazon that it was actually the company doing it, or do you feel like it was do they allow for anybody to claim?
I've gotten letters that looked super fake that I just threw away. I didn't even pay attention to them.
And you didn't take the item down?
No, not when I just received the letter, because Amazon would flag the item and tell me, but sometimes we would receive these random letters, but the item's still alive. So I think that was just another seller
that makes
trying
sense.
to scare us from, you know, I talked to other sellers on Amazon. They said I wouldn't even pay attention to it unless Amazon itself is reaching out to you and flagging it, because it's going to affect my account. But Nikes and stuff like that, that's a big thing that counterfeits. I mean, there's counterfeits in books, but it's more like textbooks.
So here's something I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on. And you know, we've talked a good bit of this, and we talked about it in episode 1 already, but I had a thought. So when you upload a video to YouTube, it scans it for any copyright things or whatever, right?
Right.
And eBay allegedly has this AI program that they're using to scan items or whatever else. And the rep told me it was a member reported copyright thing today, but that just feels a little odd on this item. I don't know if he was trying to protect the AI or if somebody just randomly chose this hat, which would be stupid. But anyway, could it be that they are attempting to use this, or would it benefit us as sellers if they used AI technology to screen our listings before they went live? And instead of dinging us, just give us a message and say, hey, you know, we found that this item, because let's be real, we all don't know everything about everything. And there could be an item that we did not maliciously list that was counterfeit. I think that would be a better approach than this what the heck did I do wrong scenario. What's your thoughts on that?
Makes too much sense to do that.
But to play advocate, I mean, how would a program really be able to detect whether your item is false or not? I mean, it really is a slippery slope. I mean, they have to protect buyers too. I get that. They don't want people, just put it this way, if they didn't have any way to stop counterfeit, then we would all just be selling stuff that's counterfeit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. But
but if they're using the AI already,
I get that, but they're going to put the onus on us to have to prove it. Again, how do we fix this? I don't know. I mean, but they're always going to be buyer centric. They're always going to be looking out for the buyer. I mean, that's all there is to it. It sucks, but
without eBay creating all these different departments, they've already got shoes, authentication for shoes, high-end jewelry, handbags. I mean, they're going to have to make one for toys, hats, bottle openers, used panties, all this crazy stuff. Guys, I don't know what the answer is. Listen, the bigger this monster gets, the more problems there's going to be. And I know everybody, I don't say everybody, but there's a lot of content providers that speak on this eBay negatively every single video, which to me kind of gets old, but I digress. But problems with this platform is never going to go away.
Never.
Because it has gotten too big and it gets bigger every day, and it's always going to be issues. It's always going to be something. Sellers are not going to be 100% satisfied. So instead of whining about it all the time, like I've done in my videos on my channel, I've decided I'm not going to do it anymore, that I am going to control what I can control, and the rest, let it go like a fart in the whirlwind, because there ain't a thing we can do about it.
And you're right. I mean, I think that's the most frustrating thing about this, though, is there's no consistency.
Right.
Because, like I say, Brandon can have something that's listed and get taken down, and I can have it up and it never gets touched, and I sell it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing. Like, it's so inconsistent. I mean, it's just inconsistent when you call somebody on the customer service side, and you get one rep that tells you one thing, you hang up, you call another rep, and then they cater to your needs. So that's what's more frustrating about any of this, is just the fact of you just can't get a straight answer.
I agree.
Even when the policy is written in ink.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's what I told, I talked to Ben on the phone earlier. I told him it's not the dollar of the item. It's not that the item got taken down. It's none of that. I don't want to sell anything counterfeit. But when I put something on there, I am 99.9% sure that it is legitimate. And the reason I showed all of the things I did. And when it is silly little items like this, that's when it gets frustrating. And there's no answers. As y'all said, there's no rhyme or reason, no answers. And I am fully in your court, Archie. I do think that you get put on like a watch list or something.
Yep.
And there's so many flaws to the system that it will continue. Like, I'd almost bet this won't be my last one. And I'm going to tell everybody out there, I'm going to hold. Well, I'm going to say this. Fight for your right if you know
to party
that you're doing no wrong. All right. And that's serious. I know I was getting to that fight for your right to party and all that.
That's a trigger, dude. Sorry, man. That's a trigger.
Now I know where it was going, and that's cool. We're rocking out, right? But no, seriously, fight for your account. Fight for your rights, because there's policies there, and if you're not violating them policies, don't let them take advantage of you. Do what you need to do if you're confident in your items. So that's just my tip of the show.
I would have reached out to the company too, though.
Yeah.
Just like you did. I mean, that's the thing, even with the Facebook groups, I mean, you kind of have to take those with a grain of salt too. I mean, you're getting so many different answers. It's like calling the Philippines and getting 8 different answers from 8 different people there too. It's just inconsistent advice.
True.
Yep.
But I would call.
Well,
but anyway,
Brandon, what you can do is take those fake items that you so proudly carouseled across the screen there and throw them in a Whatnot auction, son. Just throw them on Whatnot.
Well, I'm going to tell you. So, in all honesty, the Nike shirt, it's great. It's an actual Nike shirt. It's great for wiping like game discs and CDs because it's very soft. It's like a microfiber.
Drop it.
This makes a good shelf item, so I'll probably display this. It's cool. These here, actually, people still buy them because they're very high quality. So they'll probably go in like a yard sale or something. And then the Game Boy Yellow, whoever did those, they did a hell of a job because they still work. They actually work in Game Boys, and you can play Pokemon Yellow. So even though they're illegitimate copies, you can still play it. So
well, here's something that I've wondered, and you know, Alex done a Whatnot show.
What are you drinking, boy?
Good Lord, son.
That's a sweet dino.
That's the find of the week right there. Yard sale.
That is pretty sweet.
I think it's gonna drink you.
Holy cow! Well, Alex did a Whatnot show, and him and his daughter, and man, that was a great show. By the way, we had a great time.
Adorable.
Yeah. And here's the thing to think about. And then I have a story that I need to tell you that actually happened, and it has to do with Whatnot. But I wonder, there probably is no policies. Man, Whatnot it's a couple years old, but it's still fairly new. But to my knowledge, and y'all may know this, but I don't think there is any kind of punishment for counterfeit items. Not that you want to go over there and sell them on, counterfeit on there, but I don't think that they have the structure yet that eBay has, is the point I'm trying to make. And here's something that really happened. And this happened to my friend Donald, and he's a reseller, and he's about 30 miles away from me. And we used to do a show together, but nonetheless, Donald went and bought a laptop off of a Whatnot show, and he works on computers. Well, it turns out that laptop was stolen from a school, some school somewhere.
Real quick.
And he actually called the school and verified I guess the serial number on the laptop. And sure enough, the school told him that, yes, that laptop was stolen. And he said, should I contact Whatnot and report that seller? And I was like, well, that, like Archie said, that's a slippery slope. The seller, you don't know if he stole it or if he bought it at a flea market or it changed hands 12 different times. But I still think he should have called Whatnot to make them aware of possibility of stolen goods being traded on their platform. I thought that would be kind of imperative for them to know over on Whatnot. So what do you guys think about that? Because you really can't prove it if you buy something that's turned out to be stolen and you bought it from a guy, you can't prove that he's the one that stole the thing.
Right. I don't know. I don't know if they have any policy in place or anything. I don't know enough about the platform.
I didn't read any of their policies.
I know all of Alex's
there. I got big plans for some plushy decapitation next week.
I know in the sports card aspect of it. I mean, I'm always seeing videos and reading posts about some of the shady stuff that those guys do, and they're, like they'll have their friends shill bid and things like that. So, I'm sure there's things against that if they get caught. But again, you got to get caught, I guess, first.
One of their biggest sports card sellers has had many issues, including but not limited to giveaways that they hit a massive card in the giveaway and never sent to the person. That stuff happens all of the time in sports cards. But I mean, Alex, his daughter was saying most of those plushies were stolen, that he had stolen from, I guess, his son. They were his sons and stuff, and he stole those.
He was asleep.
She was calling him out. So I guess there's no policy because he was selling stolen plushies.
And admitting it on Whatnot. Yeah. Wow. There's your answer.
All right, guys, we're going to, the topic of today's episode, of course, is shipping, because we had a comment on one of our other shows that requested that we talk about shipping, which we're going to get in just a little bit later. So don't think that we forgot you, because we're going to discuss all aspects of shipping and what our methods are of how we do this individually. So stick around for that. But right now, gentlemen, who has got a tip of the week right now to share with our viewers and listeners?
I'll let you guys do that. I talked enough, and I gave a small tip in my little soapbox stand.
Yeah, tip of the week is just don't sell fake things on eBay. You should be fine.
And if you don't list, you can't get veroed.
Yeah.
Good tips. Yep. Quick segment. Sale of the week. Sale of the week. What is your sale of the week?
I sold some cool skateboard off-road tires for $55 for the set. Some big monster truck tires.
For what's it for?
For skateboarding.
Oh, okay.
Those are pretty cool. I think it was $55.
Archie, what about you?
Actually, I just sold it here locally about an hour before the show here. And it was the rest of my Spooky Town collection that I have. Now, mind you, I've already made 5 times my money on this. So I had about 4 or 5 little village houses left. And the thing is I don't want to sell them any later than the end of the month, because in my opinion, it's kind of like costumes. If it's within that 30-day window, it's just going to get rented. So I just went ahead and took them down, and I put them for one price. Somebody came and paid me $200 for them, and I'm happy with that. And that's my buy.
Did you test all of those by chance?
Yeah, all of them. I even took pictures of them, lighted up, or I would take a video if they were animatronics.
I was just curious because the Lamax Spooky Town ones, I think we've had like 4 or 5 of them, and those seem to have so many issues with the movements and stuff. They're very. So I was curious like how well you did on them, because I know you got a big lot of them, but I didn't know how well. They are easily fixed if you want to put the time into them. But yeah, I was just curious how that worked.
I did. I had one out of the whole lot. I had one that actually did not have the lights or the sound. As a matter of fact, somebody clipped the cord in the back, and I got to tell you that, I mean, if it was working, it was going for like 120 plus. I put it for parts only, and I still got $80 for it. I mean, people will still buy it.
Curious,
yeah,
because I've been wondering like how those go. So
yeah, they still, as parts and repair, man, they still sell. I mean, they could have missing pieces, and those things will still sell for decent money.
Cool. Well, my sale of the week, and it's really an interesting piece, and I dug it out of my storage locker a couple of months ago, and it is actually a television used WCW Monday Night Nitro script that that the broadcasters use when they're sitting at their desk, and it's a timeline of sorts. The beginning intro of the show, cue the pyro. If any of y'all were WCW Monday Night Nitro fans, you're going to understand this. But it takes you through every segment, like it would have, Hulk and Nash are talking in the locker room, and so interrupts, and da-da-da. So anyway, it's a 17-page script, and it's from like 1998, I think.
You got mad echo going on.
Do I?
A little bit.
I don't hear
it. Yeah, you distracted me. Now I got to turn my volume down.
Sorry.
So I sold a copy. I put in my title a copy of, and sold that for $9.99, and I have flipped that thing a dozen times at $10 a pop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you send us the PDF?
Now it's a copy, and it says it in the title, a copy. So anytime I sell it, I just photocopy it. I just photocopy
the listing.
Huh?
Can you send me the listing?
Yeah, why? No, you're not going to report me.
I'm not.
That's like when remember when the PS5s came out? People were selling just a photo of the box, and they were selling it for like the price of a PS5, and people were buying it, and it said specifically in the title, "photo only," and people were still paying $800-900 for it. Yeah.
So what's cool about that is that's a repeat resale. I only list one copy. When that sells, then I go in and then I relist it again. And then it's just $10, $10, all day long. Anyway, that was my sale of the week this week.
Man, this is going off the rails.
Your sale of the week is literally a copy of an authentic piece. And my soapbox was about how I do my damnedest to make sure that authentic items are on eBay, and I'm the one that keeps getting, Anyways, y'all hear that? Yeah, this is why eBay has issues.
Yeah, but anyway, bend over.
So my sale, it actually wasn't my biggest sale of the week, but it was a cool sale, very profitable, and also was a kind of a joke. I got to kind of say ha to my wife. Funny story. We went to this route sale not far from us. It's absolutely sucked. Wasn't finding much, but I came across this old CRT television, an RCA True Flat 14-inch, and it was still in the box. It had the remote, everything, and they wanted $5 for it. So I was like, okay. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I asked the girls, I'm like, does it work? And they start giggling, I guess, because my wife texted me and she's like, don't buy that. They're giggling. There's something wrong with it. And immediately they are like, we'll take $3 for it. And I'm like, I didn't even have to negotiate. I'm like, $3, what am I losing, right? Brought it home, plugged it in, fired right up. Beautiful color. I don't even think the TV was used. I think they bought it, cracked the box, and that was about it. It had all the original packing, everything. Well, I showed y'all the box in the group chat. I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to pay the shipping on this, but somebody did. They paid over $90 shipping. I sold it for, I think it was $154.99 plus $90-some shipping.
Sweet.
So,
sweet.
What
$3
and segue into shipping.
Yeah. But I got to tell her ha because she thought that it was going to be broken, and then I wasted $3 and everything else. So.
Well, hey, did we find anything interesting this week? The find of the week. What did you find that's really cool?
I was going to get it.
Cool. Go for it, Alex. Check it out. Oh, I've seen this. Yes, boys.
Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash.
Elvis Presley. Yeah, for the listeners, we're looking at a framed black and white photo of Elvis Presley with Johnny Cash, with signatures up above on signature plates up above.
And,
man, these are real signatures. It'd be worth a heck of a lot more.
Yeah,
but I think all the way up to 180 on this.
180 comps on there.
You can see. Elvis.
Huh? Yes. I paid 10 for this, but it bundled together with a whole bunch of other stuff. But
that's cool, dude.
I wanted to keep it. I showed it to my wife. She wants to keep it, so
I'll give you 12.
15.
12. I'll run
15,
it,
50.
Plus
20.
shipping. Tell them plus shipping. Hey, throw it in your whatnot if they really want to buy it.
Well, Archie, did you find
the second thing I buy?
Did you find anything interesting, Archie, this week?
So This week, the only thing that I found was that eBay actually hates me because my sales have been dismal. And I actually, in the last 7 days, have not actually sourced anything. I'm actually kind of saving myself because I'm actually going to the rally this weekend in Cincinnati. And we actually, we rented a car. So me and a bunch of people are going to go out garage selling. So this week, I didn't find anything. I didn't source it all yet. But hopefully next week, I'm going to tell you guys all about the fun we had in Cincinnati.
Awesome.
How long is that for? A couple days?
Yeah. We go early Friday morning, or actually we leave Friday morning. We get there Friday afternoon, and then we leave Sunday night. So we'll be there, a little over 2 days.
Cool.
Brandon, did you find anything interesting?
Anything real?
So I only got to go sourcing on Friday. I got up about 5:30 in the morning, drove to West Virginia, and went to a church sale. It wasn't nearly as good as I had hoped.
We got to chat with your wife in our chat thread while you were up in that mountain with no signal.
Yeah, and I was driving and everything. But the coolest thing I probably found was $1. It was a Halo helmet that I did the little reel and everything with. Believe it or not, it did actually fit on my head. I paid $1 for that. It resells for about $40. So, but yeah, nothing too exciting. We had that tropical storm come through, so it's been pretty dismal around here and wet. So,
well, when you were on that trip to West Virginia, we do know that you found a bathroom twice.
Yes.
Let me tell you what, guys, when you get our age, regular bowel movements are a plus. Okay. We won't get into more detail than that, but
high protein diets too. You need them. They're a necessity.
Yep. Eat a lot of hay and grain and all that kind of thing. All right, guys, we're going to get into the main topic. So this is what you've been hanging for. Let's talk about shipping. And first, let's do this in a couple of parts. First, let's each one discuss what your method of shipping is and how you do it. And I don't mean how you box stuff up. I mean, do you have shipping policies on your account in your store? Or what are your methods of doing shipping? And which one of you, raise your hand, wants to go first? This is going to be like school, boys. Alex is going to be first to talk about shipping.
I'm going to talk about everything you said not to talk about, though, because we were talking about shipping, and I'm going to tell you how to do shipping correctly. So you only need one thing for shipping. It's a poly mailer. That's all you need. So we're talking about boxing. You could put a book in it. You could put a knife in it, but you want to present it correctly. So make sure before you put it into the poly mailer that you open the knife and then drop it in. You want to ship it like that.
How do you do your DVD VCR combo?
Glass, it'll be fine in here. Drop that in there, it'll be fine. No problem. That's all I get is shipping. I have no shipping policies. I don't give you the policy that it's going to get there, broken or not broken. You might stab yourself. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to point something out. What you just heard, he messaged me in our little group chat that we have on Facebook Messenger, and we all four talk to each other like you're probably already familiar with hearing us do. He texted me, what is the subject? Are we really going to talk about shipping? And I said, yes, we are. And he goes, well, I needed to know so that I could fully prepare to discuss this. Well, there is your proof of his preparation, folks, right there in a nice little handbag.
Yeah, that's all you need. What about you? Took notes from that.
Yeah. What about you, Archie? What do you do, man?
I don't have any policies at all. I actually just kind of do a flat rate shipping, and I've done that for the last few years. So me being on the West Coast, I feel like I'm ostracizing all the people on the West Coast. And if I did calculated shipping, I'm basically eliminating half the country. So what I do is I'll just kind of get in the middle. So I'll be making money if it's somewhere close to here or going to Washington or if it's going to California, I'm going to make a little on the back end, and then I'm going to lose a little bit if it's going to Florida, New York. But that's basically what I do. And I ship big items, and believe it or not, I'm able to sell a lot of my electronics a lot quicker because I do that. Like, for instance, Brandon, the TV that you said that you shipped out and you shipped it out for $90. I don't see that going for, because I've shipped out some items that were 22 by 22 by 22 and like 40 pounds. And I don't think even going to the East Coast, I've paid more than $50, $55. So I probably would have put $49.99 on it and just left it at that. And like I said, if it goes to California, I'm probably only paying $25. But if it's going to Florida, I don't see me paying more than $50. How much did you pay?
I don't remember. I will say, so to explain on that, and when it's my turn, I'll get into it a little bit further. That item was actually calculated, and I'll go into why that was, and that's likely why he paid. I don't think I paid 90 something, but it was pretty expensive because I did a box in a box. I didn't just package it, in the box it came in. But no, I'll get into that when it's my turn.
I sell a lot of media mail too, and you guys know that when you sell media mail, I mean, whatever it is, you don't get that discount or anything. So what I do is, let's say it's a VHS tape. If it only weighs less than a pound, I put it at a 2-pound rate. Again, I've never had any issues. I sell media like crazy, but I'll put it at the 2-pound rate just to kind of compensate for that percentage that you're still paying on shipping. And I'll usually put it at $4.99 though. I think it's like $4.62 for me to ship anywhere at 2 pounds, but I'll just put $4.99. So that's how I do it.
Shipping on all my media.
Okay, so
they don't pay that much though. I mean, it's media mail, so I don't think I lose any sales because of media mail.
Absolutely, that's why I do it. Like I say, I'll just bump it up to the next weight and make a little extra. Actually, you're technically not even making extra. You're just breaking even. And then as far as all my shipping supplies, I don't pay for any shipping supplies. I get everything for free. I source it locally. I get tons of bubble wrap. I get tons of paper, tons of boxes. I mean, especially here in Vegas, it's so transient that people are constantly moving here. And I mean, you just go on the freebie site and there's tons of people giving away boxes. And every chance I get, I just go and pick them all up.
Wow. So you mainly, Archie, you just do flat rate across the board, no matter what the weight amount?
It's very rare. I would say at least 80% of my items are flat rate. As far as anything that's calculated, I mean, I might even be closer to 100% that everything is, because I can't even think off the top of my head right now why I would put something at calculated. I just do it all at flat rate. Because like I say, when you're as close to one coast as I am, you just don't want to lose all those people on the other coast. And I think you guys are in the same situation, I believe, right?
So you want to go, Brandon, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go, because I've actually discussed with Archie before. And so I'm in Virginia. I'm the opposite side of the country as him. He's in Vegas, so he's not even in Cali, but I'm on the East Coast. So what I do mine basically the same way he just described. Everything, I go in and I put standard shipping. I don't put Ground Advantage or priority mail or whatever. I don't give any options. I just put standard shipping, and then I put the price that the buyer pays for shipping. And he's exactly right. It helps with spreading out and being able to get sales from everywhere, because calculated is sometimes wonky. And I doubt folks in California would want to be buying, or Washington would want to be buying off of me at such a high shipping rate. So I'm kind of the same way. I have shipped so much doing sports cards over the last few years. I kind of know how much weights and what size boxes and all that, what it's going to cost. And, I have some templates, like on hats, I put $5.50 shipping because you can put them in an 864 box. They weigh approximately 7 ounces. $5.50 anywhere in the country is normally going to be covered, plus a little bit extra, because unlike Archie, I do buy packing supplies. And the reason why is I used recycled boxes at first because I get the card orders in and everything, but I ran out. And also I found it saves me so much time just ordering, a few different size boxes that I need. I know this item's going to fit in that. This item's going to fit in that. This is going to fit in that. And it also gives me easier when I'm doing my pricing. As far as the TV was calculated. I ran into an issue. If you are shipping a heavier, oversized item, I do suggest calculated. I listed a cash register one time, and someone in Puerto Rico bought it. And they are still, considered the U.S. You have Guam, Puerto Rico,
yeah.
Hawaii would be another. What's that?
I have them in Hawaii turned off, especially on my bigger items like that. Yeah, I don't ship it.
So I didn't, and the person was in Puerto Rico and bought this cash register, and I had it set to like I do all my other stuff because I thought it was plenty enough coverage there. And if it was inside the U.S., I could have shipped it. But UPS, where I normally do my bigger stuff, charges an outlandish fee to get stuff to Guam or Puerto Rico or whatever. So it actually was going to cost me more to ship the item than the person paid for the item and the shipping. So I had to message them and be like, look, I apologize, but I'm going to have to cancel this order. They understood. And so I've learned on items like that, I do calculate it just for those instances. But other than that, I do it the same way. I know about what it's going to cost and standard shipping, put that price on there, boom, let it go.
All right. Well, I do things totally different. And I mean, all of us do what works best for us, right? I mean, there is no right or wrong. We all know that. I do calculate it on everything. Now, if you are new to online reselling, I would highly recommend, if you're not familiar with shipping at all and shipping is intimidating to you, you better do calculated, because if you don't, you will lose money. It's very important. So unless you used to work at the post office and you know all the ins and outs, my recommendation is all you newbies out there, you need to do a calculated shipping on all your stuff.
More importantly, make sure you put the dimensions and the weight correctly. And when you put in the weight, make sure you're accounting for any of the packaging and the boxes.
Materials. Yeah.
So make sure you do that, because otherwise you will lose money.
Yeah.
We've all done it when we first started, I'm sure.
I did a lot.
And the way to nip that in the bud is when you're setting listing an item, go ahead and pack it in a box with what you're going to wrap it in, just like you were going to seal it up and send it off right then. Throw it on the scale, put that box dimension in there in your listing, put the actual weight in there in your listing. That way you've got it right. But I've talked to a lot of different sellers, and some of them will overestimate the weight, knowing that. So it adds more to the back end of their profits, like by a couple. I may overestimate by a couple of ounces, is what I'm saying. So if they've got it listed for 8 ounces and it comes in at 6, okay, you go in there and readjust it after it's purchased, and you take the 8 out and put the 6 ounce in. You're going to save a few pennies there on the label. But I do calculate it. Now, a lot of my business boys comes from West Coast. Now, here's the deal. I don't sell anything big, heavy, and bulky. I mean, there's a difference there when you're not shipping big items, I think.
Yeah.
But I really do. And how I know they're West Coast, I can be laying in bed at night, and after midnight, my phone, cha-ching, cha-ching, I know that's West Coast sales.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I've shipped about every state, Midwest and out West, but calculated for me is what I just like to stick to. And just here recently, I dropped all of my priority shipping on my items and switched all over to ground. Everything I've got is Ground Advantage is what I'm doing now, because after looking at the pricing charts, Ground Advantage is cheaper than priority in a lot of cases.
Yeah, so, except if it's in a close zone. That's
time
it's been cheaper.
Yeah. So I just went Ground Advantage across the board in my store, calculated shipping, so I don't have to sit here and think about it. Now I don't give the customer a choice. Number one, I've shipped UPS maybe less than a dozen times. I've never used FedEx. So I don't give them a choice in services in the listing. I just make it Ground Advantage, calculated, and I'm done and out the door. The less time you got to spend on it, the better in my book. So that's just what has worked for me. But
now I will tell you though that anything that's over a pound though, if I can fit it into a padded mailer or an envelope or the legal envelope, I will, because obviously that's going to save money across the board too.
Oh yeah. Like with t-shirts, with vintage t-shirts, I'll just roll those shirts up and throw it in one of the little poly bags.
Yeah. But see what I do, if I know that I can put it in a bubble mailer, the flat rate bubble mailer, I think it charges $10.80 or $10.30, right?
$10.80.
I don't do that. Then I'll put in for the calculated, or I'm sorry, not calculated, but I'll put it in as a flat rate as $9.99 though. Okay, because again, it's still counting, because it's only going to cost me $8.30. So I'm still making up some of that money from the percentage that they're taking out on the shipping. But in my opinion, it still looks good, and I have the competitive advantage over somebody that's using calculated for that same item if they're using the same bubble mailer, but charging them $10.80.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alex, you got any more you want to add to what you do?
I do calculated shipping on everything.
Do you?
Like I said, 90% of everything I ship out is books, so I really don't worry about it.
Right.
Because I don't feel like I'm losing sales because it doesn't cost that much for them to pay for the shipping anyways, you know?
All right, but when we get into holiday shopping season, you're going to be selling your toys.
I'm still going to do calculated shipping.
You'll do calculated.
Like you said, it's just easier.
All right.
You know?
Hey, I didn't bring this up to you though, but on your whatnot that you had the other day,
yes,
I think what I wind up getting like 6 items. I think by the 3rd or 4th item, it was 0 for shipping. I meant to bring this up to you, but there's something you probably need to look at, because it should have been 0 for items 4 through 6, because your weight is increasing. So you actually are paying more. So something you might want to look into. It literally, because you know how it will come up and it'll show you how much you're paying on the next shipping item.
Yeah.
My very first one was like $5.30. Then number 2 and number 3 was like $1.18 for each.
Yeah.
And then everyone after that was 0.
Because it was just bundling it together. They weren't charging you for shipping after a few of them.
Yeah, but that's not typical, because I have purchased 5-6 items from sellers before on whatnot, and I've never seen that 0 charge. So I could be wrong. Somebody in the chat can be like, no, dummy, this is why it does that. I've just never seen that. You might want to just still look into it so you don't get screwed.
Well,
you have to check out the shipping and dive into that and see if you can adjust settings or something. I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know how that works, but I have sourced a lot from whatnot, and I've had like 15 to 20 t-shirts sent to me in a USPS priority 13 by 12 by 9. And because I bought so much, a certain amount of those items were free shipping after my initial 3 or 4 purchases.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Everything I shipped out was yours was over 5, and I had a few other people that bought more than 5
now,
too.
Archie, I can't say for a fact you're wrong. I can just say that I have experienced what you just did with his sale. But that's happened to me multiple times. So I'm sitting on Whatnot and I'm bidding and I'm thinking, man, I'm just a couple more items away where I can have this shipping really reduced because I'm doing a bulk buy. So that's what I always do is I always load that cart up and buy till I get that down there to hardly anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it helps when you're only buying $1 plushies.
Yeah. Oh, so, man.
Just to like touch a little bit more on the shipping thing, because I know the shipping can be one of the most intimidating parts of starting to sell on eBay. Like, and it's also something that will, in a way, make or break the success of your business. One thing that when you go to feedbacks and look at, at a seller's feedback, one thing that is key, and in fact, there's even like the 5 stars for shipping speed and everything else. But if you see, like, it's nice when a seller or a buyer leaves you feedback, well packaged, shipped fast, all of that, because that's telling your next buyer, if they're one that reads the feedback, all right, this guy puts care in what he's doing. So just a few helpful tips, within this topic. Don't be afraid to pull up like pirate ship and play around with, take an item that you want to sell, get yourself a scale. I would highly suggest getting yourself a scale, but take the item, put it on there and type in some measurements and do like, Beverly Hills, 90210. Everybody knows that zip code, but try to look at different locations and get an idea of what the shipping is going to cost. Pirate ship should relate pretty close or the same as what eBay is going to charge you for shipping. It's less than retail. It's a third party rate or whatever they call it. The other thing, and this isn't going to be a foolproof tip, but it does become helpful. If you go in Terapeak, you pull the item up and look at the sales history on Terapeak, it should give you an average shipping cost of the items that have sold. And that also can give you kind of an idea of what has people been charging for shipping on that particular item. And then you can also in Terapeak look at active listings and see what people are charging for shipping, and then kind of, get a feel. What should you be priced at? I would not recommend, at least in the beginning, free shipping, because that is a way you could highly get burned. You price something, you bake your shipping in, but it turns out you wind up paying more for the shipping than you ship your item out. So just a few little tips there if you don't want to do the calculated. One reason I don't like the calculated is, as Ben mentioned, you got to put it in the box and everything as you're doing the listing. And I actually list on an entirely different floor of my house than where I ship from. So that would be a big pain in the butt. So I've just kind of learned the pricing as time goes, but just thought I would throw that out to reiterate a little bit further on a little bit of tips. So
I know you have some videos out there on your channel. Go subscribe, by the way. But do you have any videos out there about playing with your package?
Not on that channel. Not on that channel. That's on a paid site.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. For those of you that want to see more of the videos from Brandon, go check him out on 540 Flips over on YouTube. And he is on Instagram. So go check him out. Beard King Picker is also an Instagram phenomenon with his shorts that he puts out there. So make sure you go see Beard King Picker over on Instagram. And he's got a YouTube channel. He just done a video today with a unique thumbnail, which I thought was ingenious, dude. That was killer.
That was good.
And then Archie, Archie is he's just the get around guy in the reselling community. Yeah. And you can catch him on Instagram. On Instagram, you can catch him also on YouTube. He's got quite an extensive video library there for you to go check out. And you can check me out. Yeah. You can go check me out as well. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube as Rocky Top Picker. go hit subscribes to these fellas. I know they would appreciate it, and I would appreciate it. And yeah, so with that, let's go back to Brando. We want to read the comment of the week.
So there was several. I don't want to discount anyone's comments, but there were several good comments. But I am going to pick this one because I think it elaborated a little bit further, and I actually liked what they said. They said 540 Flips is the coolest guy on this show, and I really enjoy watching him. Never mind. Never mind. That was what I typed, but I never hit send on it. Okay. No, this is from at Dino or Dino. I don't know which way. Dash PL2, the number 2 XF. So
that's Dino.
Dino dash PL2 XF.
Yeah, he's one of my viewers.
It says, okay, I'm going to agree. Rocky Top and Biscuit Butt on DraftBanks. I list every day except Saturday and Sunday. I launch my $25 or more listings immediately, and my lower dollar listings I time to launch on Saturday and Sunday to keep the algorithm happy. As far as sourcing, buy when you can, build up your death pile if you have the room. It's like a savings account. When the C word hit and sourcing was difficult, I just worked off my death pile, didn't miss a beat. Great show. Keep them coming. Great comment, Dino. I apologize. I don't know which way you refer to it as, but Dino, I do like that. They list out the bigger ticket items, and then they use their smaller items to schedule out on the weekends, so they don't have to worry about sitting there on the weekends and listing items. So I think that's a very great strategy on approaching the digital death pile. Tour coming soon. But I think that's a great strategy. Get those higher dollar items up and let the little guys fill in the holes on the weekend. So
that is a good idea. Absolutely.
That was for you, Archie.
What'd you say?
To fill in those holes.
I said that was for Archie. You didn't catch it.
Oh
the
my
little
gosh!
Guys filling in those holes on the weekend.
Talking about he wants to play around with your package, filling in holes. What else?
Yeah, we got holes in the locker room, boys. Holes we got to fill. Holes we got to
Speaking of that, we want the females out there to know that they are welcome in the locker room.
Yes.
So this is a unisex locker room. So we encourage all females.
Absolutely.
If you're a reseller, you're invited.
Yes, and everyone is like invited to comment or, whenever in the future.
Well,
I guess
not everyone.
Yeah.
For the most part.
We've had our very first episode. We're at 650 views.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we're giving some meaningful advice. So make sure if we're giving good advice, if we're entertaining you more than anything, make sure you hit the sub button, hit the thumbs up, make a comment. And you know what? Even if there's something on this episode that you don't like, the next episode, Brandon will say something you like, I promise.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't promise. We agreed, no promising.
Fellas, we do need to do a serious shout to the two old guys reselling podcast, Chris and Caleb over there. On their last podcast, they gave a lot of attention to this show, and we want to say thank you to them for doing that.
I enjoyed that.
I do have one bone to pick with them, though. So they have coined the greatest comment on their podcast, okay? And that was from yours truly. When I made a comment about Chris, because he said he goes and plays volleyball, and I was like, Chris playing volleyball, it must be on a tennis court, And Caleb had a lot of fun with that on Chris. And then obviously I went back at Caleb and was talking about how the lighting in his shop is great because it has like a nice glow to him. But Chris mentioned that somebody needed to memeify him playing tennis on or volleyball on a tennis court. And he loved the picture, but they never showed it on the podcast. So there is Chris with his good buddy Kevin playing volleyball on a tennis court.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. So, yeah. Well, I am a channel member to the Old School Picker, which is Chris, and him and Caleb of the Old Paths put together the Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. And I have been invited to join them on their show on their 25th episode, which I don't think is next Tuesday, but maybe the Tuesday after. I don't know for sure. But yeah, it's going to be great to be on that show with those fellas. I've got bones to pick with them together and individually, which I'm not going to say on this show. I'm going to wait and do it when I'm in cam with the two of them. But I am a channel member to Chris's YouTube channel and got my name on the shelf. And for any of you viewers that have not picked up on the Old School Picker, you need to go over there and see his content that he puts out. He puts out a couple, 2, sometimes 3 videos a week. And Caleb has got videos recorded, but he's not uploaded any of them because him and Chris have a thing going that once Caleb gets to 100 subs without any content uploaded, he will then begin to release content. And I think the last count, he was sitting at 88 subs. So if you're not familiar with Caleb, the Old Paths, you want to go over there and hit that sub button so we can see some videos from Mr. AKA Peyton Manning. Because, he's got that real nice shiny forehead that looks so pretty, right?
And if you ever get the chance and are able to go to the 127 to the Two Old Guys meetup, Caleb's wife, holy smokes, her food is amazing. So shout out to her again. That food was awesome.
Expecting that.
Yeah.
Oh
that
man,
was awesome.
Y'all missed out on that.
But here's something else I want to throw out to you guys real quick. And I saw this on Chris, the Old School Picker's video he put out earlier in the week. To you individually, what constitutes being a full-time reseller? What constitutes it? Is it 40 hours plus a week that you're putting into your business? Is it the fact that all your reselling money pays all your bills? So how do you count towards that? If you've not watched Chris's video, you need to go see this because it's really thought-provoking. And I know everybody's going to have a different opinion on it. But what do you guys think? What really constitutes a full-time reseller in your mind?
I'm a full-time reseller with part-time pay.
That's a good way to put it.
That is a good way to put it. What about you, Arch? What do you think?
A majority of my income comes from reselling, so therefore I am a full-time reseller. I do go out a few weekends a month, and I'll do some delivery apps because they always have incentives, and I can make some incredible money.
Yeah.
But I mean, my life is sourcing and selling and listing. So I don't think you can really put an amount of hours on it. I mean, I would still think that somebody that's retired or, that has a significant other that has a W-2 job, if they're still, even if they're spending 20 hours a week and that's all they're doing, then they are full time, I would imagine. Okay. I mean, that's what they're concentrating on.
Okay, let's put it in this context because this is actually how Chris put it in context here. A good percentage of his income he receives from ad revenue from YouTube. And then the other part is his eBay money. So what he was saying is when your content money starts to outweigh your reselling money, are you still considered a full-time reseller? To me, I wouldn't give a flip. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, here it is for me. You're a full-time reseller when you ain't got to report to another building other than your house. You do not have a boss that you have to answer to. You don't have to clock in and you ain't on a salary. To me, if you're doing this, what we do, and you're not doing all that other, you're a full-time reseller is how I see it. And I don't care if you're getting YouTube money for videos as well. You wouldn't have YouTube videos if you weren't reselling to give you the content, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he stated in there, and shout out to Chris. I watched this video that you're referring to, and there was a bit more to it. You could tell there was some frustration there with him. And he really, to be clear, he didn't need to explain himself or what reasoning for his channel members or any of that. So props to him, but I could tell it was kind of weighing on him. But he said 75% of his income is reselling, and then 25% has been from his YouTube. And he said his YouTube's been doing a little bit better. And of course he does have the, he does have the channel memberships and all that. I really think that, well, for one, to answer your question, what constitutes full-time? If you're paying your bills and your quote unquote air quotes for the listeners job is reselling, that's how you're making money to live, then that is your job. That is what you're doing full time. If you can survive on just reselling, that is what you're doing full time. Chris likely could still survive without his content revenue. He would then take the time that he's putting into the content and be able to focus it more on the reselling, which would create more revenue. He took something that I think we all have started as, where the content is more fun, hobby, sharing things, community, meeting people, and it turned into something that has created some funds that he now can use that to help pay for, whatever. So is he a full-time reseller? Yes, because even I wholeheartedly believe without the content, he could still support his family on his reselling, because he would have more time freed up to do more reselling. So, it's YouTube comment trolls that are ruffling feathers and trying to make rules for other individuals and how they do things and what is, what isn't, what's right, what's wrong. And we've all already said we all do this differently. We all come from different backgrounds. We, do things different ways. We all have different income levels that are necessary. Some people may need $15,000 a month, and some may need $1,500 a month. So you can't base a person on what they're doing out there. And really, it's none of your business. So,
fellas, I nominate Brandon to lead the next show. What do you think?
I think if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you look to see if you had any sales, I think if when you're eating breakfast, you're sending out offers, you're sitting on the toilet, you're sending items in your draft bank. If you're constantly thinking about eBay or whatever platform you're using, you're a full-time reseller.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm not a full-time reseller, because I get up in the morning, I read Brandon's comments, I sit on the toilet, I read Brandon's comments.
So you are a full-time Brandon follower.
I get up and make content.
I need a friend, I think.
And I listen to some things.
Oh, that's great, guys.
You've got a friend in me.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But no, I mean, I just thought that was an interesting question that Chris posed to himself. And regardless, I'm sure there's a lot more part-timers out there than there are full-timers. And I want to tell you, those of you that are listening and watching, if you're just part-time and you have dreams and aspirations, as we all did at one point, to become a full-time reseller, I will tell you, it does not get any easier. I mean, right now you're dividing your time between your job, eBay, family, and a lot of other life distractions. And I commend all you part-time sellers out there that are able to function with clarity, because that is a tough road to hoe. But once you roll full time, you have more responsibility on your shoulders, and the responsibility gets heavier. So, just be prepared. Be prepared. It's not going to be a cheesecake walk once you roll over to full time. And of course, now my background's in finance. I could get into a number of different things of how can you tell when you're ready to go full time? That could be another show that we could do, just from the financial side of things, that I could relay to anybody that's interested, where you need to be financially. So we might be able to get into that into a future show. But you guys got any more thoughts on what we've been discussing?
Just one last thing with Chris and the whole YouTube thing, because I know people think that YouTube is easy and you just record a video, throw it up, you make money. That's not how it is at all. To be honest, I am very terrible at being consistent on my YouTube content, because I put so much time and effort into my eBay store and doing that part. Do I wish my channel would grow? Yes. Can you make money on it? Yes. Is it a lot of money like people think? No. The affiliates, the sponsors, that kind of stuff, that's where the real money is in content. Even Chris says, and he kind of, again, he didn't need to do this, but he told everybody what he makes on those $5 a month memberships. And he's not lying. YouTube gets if you think eBay fees are bad, do Google ad revenue. They take a chunk out. Yeah. And, he does get some of that, but I would say it is harder and a lot more work and time involving to build and keep consistent a good YouTube channel than it is a good eBay store. And he puts a lot of time and effort in that, and he should be rewarded for it.
Yeah. Sorry, is my beard touching your forehead? I just got a sponsor, Jeremy's Razors. I just got a sponsorship from them.
Nice.
I will not be using
That's cool.
Yeah. Get a little hairy in here.
I would tell anybody that's a full-time or a part-time reseller that it's just like anything else, any other job you've had, any other, you played sports. As long as you're having fun, keep doing it. When it stops, then think of something else, because your sanity is important.
True. Very true. Mental health is very important.
Just go crazy.
Yeah. Just like Prince says, let's go crazy. Right. Well, gentlemen,
both ends.
Here's what I can tell you, those that are listening and those that are watching. You can join us right here in this locker room every Thursday, starting at 9 a.m. drop time. We hope to see you guys right back here at the Resellers Locker Room Podcast. Baby. See you next time.